Hi, hello, welcome to Surya Academy. Actually, let's get into the topic. Prelims, UPSC prelims is very much important. It is imperative to check previous year UPSC prelims question paper because what is important question for what is the important topic for UPSC prelims? Do you have any idea, any guesses? See, the topics which are all came through previous year question papers or the important topics, that is the open secret. Okay, so what we are trying to do in this course is we try to collect those topics which are repeated from the previous year question papers. Generally last past 20 years question paper we try to analyze, and we collected around 60 odd topics, 60 plus topics that are repeated in the prelims, so which means they are important as per the prelims. Okay, so you have to study those 60 topics no matter what. You cannot omit those topics. So in this course we are going to cover that all those 60 topics, so that it will be easy for you before the exam. It will give you the immense confidence, so you can like easily attend the prelims. So that is the concept and motto of this particular course. Let's get into the topic first. Let's get into one by one. First one is Congress Socialist Party. It's the first topic. They already appeared in 2015, 1998, 96, 87 prelims. So this is the topic, Congress Socialist Party. It's a left wing. Congress Socialist Party is a left wing within Indian National Congress. So there were Congress before independence, as you are aware. So this is left wing before left wing within INC. Okay, Indian National Congress. They are the branch. They are inside. Okay, they are inside, not the separate, not a separate or opposite party of INC. It's inside, part of INC. It was founded in 1934 by INC members who rejected Gandhi. Remember, they rejected Gandhi by claiming he is anti-rational. Okay, as well as they rejected Communist Party of India as well by claiming they have sectarian attitude. Please remember that this is a socialist party, so it's a common sense. Socialist party may have alliance, may have inclination towards Communist Party. That's a common sense. But Socialist Party, Congress Socialist Party, are against because of the sectarian attitude that they thought. Okay, who founded? Members of the Congress Socialist Party who founded are Jayaprakash Narayan, Ram Manohar Lohia, Acharya Narendra Dev. Okay, these three are the most important guys. They founded Congress Socialist Party 1934. They influenced by Fabianism, Marxism, Leninism. They influenced by Fabianism, Marxism and Leninism. Okay, they have members I'm speaking inside Congress Socialist Party. They have members who advocate armed struggle as well as non-violent struggle, non-violence resistance. So in both the categories they have members. Okay, so armed struggle members are Jayaprakash Narayan, Baswant Singh, Yusuf. So these people, they advocate armed struggle, little violent nature, their way of struggle for independence. Non-violent resistance is from Acharya Narendra Deva, the member of the Congress Socialist Party. They advocated decentralized socialism. Okay, they advocated decentralized socialism. Please note that Jawaharlal Nehru never joined CSP, although he was a socialist person. He himself a great socialist, but he never joined Congress Socialist Party. Okay, after independence, Congress Socialist Party broke away from Congress. After independence, they dissolved in 1948. Congress Socialist Party dissolved in 1948. Clear? Okay. Next important topic is Montreal Protocol. Okay, Montreal Protocol, it's been a repeated question in 2015, 2001, 2007. It's been a repeated question. Montreal Protocol, important topic from environment perspective. What is Montreal Protocol? Montreal Protocol, it's basically a treaty which is to phase out ozone depleting substances from atmosphere. Okay, from the atmosphere. ODS, we call them as ODS, ozone depleting substances from atmosphere. It came into force in 1989. It has 197 members. Its eighth amendment happened at Kigali, capital of Rwanda, in 2016. Okay, its eighth amendment happened at Kigali, capital of Rwanda, in 2016. This Kigali amendment is important as of now. Montreal Protocol's Kigali amendment is important. Okay. Also, Montreal Protocol successfully curbed 98% production of chlorofluorocarbons, CFC, and other ODs. Okay, Kigali amendment, their target is reduce the manufacture and use of hydrofluorocarbons by roughly 80 to 85% by 2045. Okay, reduce the manufacture and use of hydrofluorocarbons 80 to 85% by 2045. Arrest global average temperature rise. Global average temperature rise. Arrest or stop up to 0.5 degrees Celsius by 2100. Up to 0.5 degrees Celsius by 2100. Clear? Okay. Then another important topic, Buddha. Buddhism, Jainism, always an important topics when it comes to prelims. In 2014 and 2015, 2 years successive years, there has been a question from prelims in prelims. Buddha's places associated with the places associated with Buddha. That was the question. It like exact Xerox copy appeared in back to back 2014 and 15. So it is imperative to study what are all the places he traveled. Okay, the first one is Lumbini. Lumbini, it's in Nepal. It's its birthplace where Buddha was born. It's part of Shakya Janpada. Okay, the next important place is Bodh Gaya. Bodh Gaya is like Bihar, near river Niranjana, where at the banks of river Niranjana, where Buddha got enlightenment. Okay, this Niranjana river or Uruvela, another name of that river. Okay, next important place is Sarnath. So far we have seen Lumbini, Bodh Gaya, now Sarnath. Also called as Mrigadeva, Rishipatna, Ishipatna. These are the name. Another name of Sarnath. In Sarnath, there were deer park where Buddha delivered his first sermon, which is called as Dhammachakra Parivartanam. Okay, Buddha delivered his first sermon, which is called as Dhammachakra Parivartanam. This Sarnath is part and parcel of Kasi Janpada. Remember, Lumbini was part and parcel of Shakya Janpada. Sarnath was part and parcel of Kasi Janpada. Okay, and Sravasti was part and parcel of Kosala kingdom. Sravati was part and parcel of Kosala kingdom, where Buddha spent 24 years there. Most of the monastic life of Buddha was spent in Sravasti. Okay, they call 24 Chaturmasas. Chaturmasa means year, which is equal to year. 24 Chaturmasa Buddha spent in Sravasti. Okay, it's also a birthplace of Tirthankarar, the birthplace of Jain Tirthankar Sambhavnath. It is also birthplace of Jain Tirthankar Sambhavnath. Okay, and then Sankasya. Sankasya, it is like little here and there because it is believed where Buddha descended from heaven. After death of Buddha, he descended from heaven to Sankasya. It is believed. Okay, and then final one place, Rajgir. See, Rajgir was capital of Magadha. So we have seen Kosala, Saraswati. Now we are seeing Magadha, Rajgir. Previous two places are Shakya Janpada, Lumbini, Sarnath, part of Kasi. Shakya, Kasi, Kosala, Magadha. Also, they can ask an MCQ, what are all the kingdoms Buddha associated with? Then, of course, we have studied about now Shakya, Kosala, Kasi and Magadha. Okay, let's come back to Rajgir. Rajgir was the capital of Magadha. It was ruled by Bimbisara. Note down, Bimbisara and Buddha are contemporary. They lived in same time. After great departure, the Mahabhinishkaramana, after great departure, Buddha first went there. Where? Rajgir. After great departure, Buddha went to Rajgir and he started begging there as an ascetic. He started begging there. The king of Magadha, Bimbisara, offered his throne to Buddha, which Buddha refused. Got it? These are all the places Buddha associated with. Clear? Okay. Next important topic is rupee convertibility. 1994 and 2015. This question has been asked. So rupee convertibility, the simple thing they have asked in the question, what is rupee convertibility? That is what they asked in the prelim question. So what is that? It can be converted, rupee can be converted to any foreign currency at existing market rate for trade purposes for any amount. See, rupee can be converted to any foreign currency. Note down, any foreign currency at existing market rate for trade purposes for any amount. Clear? It allows for easy financial transaction for the export and import of goods and services. Note down, rupee convertibility is fully convertible on the current account, partially convertible on the capital account. So this can be asked in prelims. Rupee convertibility is fully convertible on the current account, partially convertible on capital account. Clear? Okay, what is current account convertibility? It is freedom to see, these points I am adding just in case if they go one step in depth and they ask question what is current account and capital account. That's it. So what is current account convertibility? Freedom to buy or sell foreign exchange for the following international transactions. There are some international transactions. Got it? So freedom to buy or sell foreign exchange for those international transactions, which is called current account convertibility. Let's see what are they. All payments in current with foreign exchange trade, other current business, including services and normal short-term banking and credit facilities. Payment dues like interest on loans, net income from other investments. Payments of moderate amount of amortization of loans or depreciation of direct investment. Moderate remittances for family living expenses. Clear? When it comes to capital account convertibility, liberalization of countries' capital transactions such as loans, investment, both short term and long term, as well as speculative capital flows. See, capital account convertibility exists for foreign investor and NRIs for undertaking direct and portfolio investment in India. If Indian wants to invest in abroad, okay, so first thing is foreign investor and NRIs. Now if Indian want to invest in abroad, $4 million is eligible for automatic approval by the RBI. If it is beyond that, there is a committee was approved by RBI. They'll take care of the rest. Clear? So now rupee convertibility is another important topic. Now we understood what is rupee convertibility. A rupee can be converted into any foreign currency. That is convertibility can be converted into any foreign currency. Clear? Note on, the foreign currency is the key. Any foreign currency at existing market rate for any trade purpose or for any amount. Okay, export and import of goods and services. So it helps for easy financial transaction of export and import of goods and services. And partial convertibility, full convertible, partial convertible, you have to note down. And then there is two types: current account, capital account. Current account, what are the things futures, and capital account, what are the things and futures. Just now we have seen. Okay, that's all from this video. Next video, let's continue. Please do subscribe and share. If you wish this series to be continued, please do subscribe and share, and do comment as well. Thank you.